Carolyn Leavitt is ugly on the inside and the outside, and I'll warn you right now, if you're going to be offended by criticism of her appearance, you should probably click away, because her appearance is exactly why a photo of her is going massively viral for all the wrong reasons. And yes, she is absolutely losing her mind over it. We're going to get into all of that, and trust me, I've got plenty to say about Carolyn Leavitt. So stick around. But before we do, please take a moment to leave a like on this video, and if you enjoy the channel, hit that subscribe button. It really helps support our work. Now, that viral photo isn't the only reason Carolyn Leavitt has been blowing up this week. Her complete failure to do her job, not just to present well, but to function competently, has also been on full display. And that's exactly what Jen Psaki broke down in one of my favorite and most important segments from Leavitt's disastrous press performance this week. That's where I want to start before we get into the photo itself. And fair warning, you might want to cover your eyes when you see it. Let's start with Jen.
But today was an exception. Take a listen to her response to this question from the Daily Mail's John Michael Raish.
President Trump has talked twice in recent days, once at the Kennedy Center and then to Reuters again last night, about canceling the election. Why is he talking about this?
I believe you're referring to the president's interview at Reuters last night. I was in that interview. It was a closed-door interview. Obviously, there was not audio or video. The president was simply joking.
I don't know about you, but I find the sitting president of the United States joking about canceling the next elections absolutely hilarious. Absolutely. Just joking there. Now, the reason, of course, I'm clearly kidding, that this is, of course, alarming and not funny at all, is that Trump keeps bringing up his desire to cancel the midterm elections. And he's doing things to try to make it harder for people to vote. Effectively, he's trying to end our nation's democratic experiment altogether. But the real reason I wanted to play that is because when Andrew Feinberg from The Independent presses her on the issue again, she just attacks him personally instead of answering his question.
Americans for generations have fought and died for democracy, for this democracy. Are you saying that the president finds the idea of canceling elections funny?
Andrew, were you in the room? No, you weren't. I was in the room. I heard the conversation, and only someone like you would take that so seriously and pose it as a question in that way.
I mean, I think a lot of people take the president of the United States threatening to cancel elections pretty seriously, especially given he repeats it and has said it many times. Okay, today Leavitt got the very first question of the briefing to none other than anti-trans activist Riley Gaines. In a room where every seat is coveted, the White House gave her two, and those are kind of special seats on the side where normally the staff sits. One for her and one for her husband so he could show Leavitt their baby. And everybody loves a baby. But again, it's a little absurd, this whole thing. There were some real journalists, though, asking important questions in that room today, and Caroline Leavitt, of course, did not answer them. So I'm going to take a crack at a few of those. There were a lot of questions, of course, about ICE today. So I'm going to start with one of those. Nandita Bose from Reuters, go ahead.
There have been multiple instances of American citizens being detained by ICE, and I'm wondering what the administration is asking the agency to do. What steps is the administration asking the agency to take to ensure that Americans are not wrongly arrested?
Nandita, I hate to break it to you, but the truth is that the Trump administration is doing nothing to prevent U.S. citizens from being detained by ICE.
Carolyn Leavitt is genuinely terrible at her job, and hearing Jen Psaki lay it out really puts that into perspective. Part of why Carolyn is so bad at lying, which, let's be honest, is basically her entire job, is that she's only performing for an audience of one. She's constantly angry and defensive because all she wants is approval from dear leader Donnie. That desperation drives everything she does. She comes off cold, unfeeling, and deliberately cruel, which is exactly the point of this administration. Cruelty is the feature, not the bug. But that approach doesn't help sell policy. It doesn't make her effective, and it certainly doesn't make her seem authentic. In fact, it makes her look completely artificial, and inorganic is honestly a pretty accurate way to describe much of what we see from Carolyn Leavitt. I'll keep it limited to the neck up, but it's clear she's already sporting what people call the Mar-a-Lago cougar face before she's even 30. And it was that botched, overdone Mar-a-Lago look that got caught on camera outside the press briefing room. Despite the makeup, the lighting, and everything being perfectly staged. And still, the image is going wildly viral because even with all that control, she looks shockingly bad. This photo of Carolyn Leavitt not looking too hot was captured at a Mexican restaurant, which, first of all, Carolyn Leavitt should not be able to eat at a Mexican restaurant, all things considered. In the original poster wrote, Mar-a-Lago face takes a toll. This woman is 28 years old. One Twitter user responded and wrote, may her face continue rejecting the filler so it furs at a quicker rate. Inshallah. What the FGOP wrote, wait, she's only 28. I thought she was closer to 40. Evil really does rot you from the inside out, and that's exactly what we're watching happen to Carolyn Leavitt. The rot is visible now. And look, I've known people in my life, women included, who've had cosmetic procedures like peels. There's nothing inherently wrong with wanting to stay youthful or feel good about how you look. That's not the issue. But if you get a peel, you're not supposed to go sit out in the sun immediately afterward, especially not under the brutal Miami UV. You let it settle. You protect your skin. That's basic. And yet here she is, red, blotchy, swollen, visibly inflamed at 28. That level of puffiness doesn't just come out of nowhere. And honestly, why on earth is Carolyn Leavitt even allowed to enjoy things like Mexican food? As Jennifer Welch famously put it, if you triple down on Trump, you don't get the good stuff. No Mexican food, no foreign cars, no culture. You get grease, slop, and Morgan Wallen on repeat. That's the lifestyle. And frankly, that's the lifestyle she deserves. Because she's a bad person, full stop. And yes, she deserves the mockery. I'm not interested in being told I need to be nicer or more polite or that appearances are off limits. When someone's external presentation perfectly mirrors their internal cruelty, it's fair game. Carolyn Leavitt is deeply cruel, deeply dishonest, and deeply hollow. That's who she is. And what bothers me most is the hypocrisy layered on top of all of it. Why aren't you at home? You have a child, you're pregnant, you've got a husband, and yet all these conservative grifters, the same ones who tell women they belong in the home, are never practicing what they preach. Candace Owens lectures women about homemaking while building a media empire. Eric Erickson spins fairy tales about virtue while living the exact opposite life. They wag their fingers at everyone else while exempting themselves entirely. And let me be clear. I don't care if people go out. I don't care if someone has a drink. I don't care if you live your life. What I care about is the lying, the moralizing, the sanctimony. These people tell you not to eat processed food while injecting and smearing raw chemical sludge all over their faces. They preach natural while looking increasingly artificial. And then they act offended when people notice. The fakery isn't accidental. It's the point. It's who they are, inside and out. Whether it's Carolyn Leavitt, Kristi Noem playing dress-up with billions of taxpayer dollars, or any of these MAGA figures turning cruelty into a personality trait, the through line is the same. They don't deserve the benefit of good faith because they do not operate in good faith. Carolyn Leavitt mocked a reporter and threatened to remove them from the briefing room for saying an innocent woman shouldn't have been murdered. She disgraced a victim while standing at the White House podium. So no, I'm not interested in protecting her feelings. If she looks awful, I'll say so, because she behaves awfully, and pretending otherwise hasn't gotten us anywhere. This obsession with politeness, with coddling fascists in the name of unity, is a losing strategy. Unity requires two sides. We are not the ones demanding harm. We are not the ones stripping rights. Appealing to people who want you erased is not moral superiority. It's surrender. Winning matters. Accountability matters. And that means being honest about who these people are and what they represent. If a Democrat wants to run on vibes and civility while refusing to confront the rot head on, they should rethink it. Because we already saw where hesitation got us. So yes, we're going to keep calling this out every day. And if you want to support that, hit the like button, subscribe, and if you made it to the end, drop a blue heart in the comments. And until next time, I will see you soon.